My name is Karina Sams, and I will be doing a photo critical analysis. I'd like to review frame, time, and focus. Let's begin with frame. In this photo, it looks as if it was actively framed by the photographer, though we don't know. It shows a close-up on the men to show that they are the subject of the photograph and not the buildings in the background. It's showing the main subjects of the photograph, but none of the big picture information. You don't see the full buildings or any indicators of where the gentlemen actually are, other than the stairs leading up to the building and the alleyway behind the other man. The distinct lines in this photo also indicate the photo was actively framed. There are very defined vertical and horizontal lines. From the stairs being horizontal, leading your eyes into the older gentleman, to the vertical lines of the buildings leading your eyes directly to the younger man, both lining up with the edges of the photograph as well. From the center being horizontal, leading with the edges of the picture, and then the stairs being horizontal right here, leading with the bottom. And excuse me, I meant the vertical leading with the sides of the photograph. It appears that the photographer also symmetrically lined up the photograph to be equal on both sides. If you were to fold the photograph in half, these two men would be split with an equal ratio of emptiness to busyness. You would have a gentleman on this side, a gentleman on this side, a dark spot, and a light area, and a light area. Let's move on to time. The photo looks like it was taken just at the right moment, making it frozen in time. There is mid-action of either talking or saying goodbye right here, but the action's unclear, which could also lead me to believe that this photo is still time as well, because the photographer could have staged this photo for a long period of time and had these men stay in this position. There's nothing to distinctively say that it was one or the other, but both kind of play a role. Both are definite possibilities. The only thing that leads me to think that it was more still time than frozen time is the shutter speed. The photograph could have been taken many times over, but there's side lighting right here from the top right that appears that the sun was almost at midday and brings out the definition on the suits of both subjects, and for example the wrinkles on the sleeves, or while at the same time shading the faces, making the lighting very obvious. But the part that kind of gets me is the shadow, how defined they are. With a fast shutter speed, you're going to get very distinct lines like that. If you were to have a long exposure on this, they're going to be a little bit more blurry and kind of look like these blurry buildings in the background. Let's move on to focus. The focus in this photograph is definitely prevalent, as well as a perception of depth. With these stairs leading you into an empty doorway, and also the alleyway in the buildings to the background, and also some trees, putting the lower stairwell to be closer to the camera, and that the buildings are unfocused and perceivingly further away. It appears the photographer had a selective focus while taking this photograph, because the lines move your eyes to see the men first. They kind of draw you into the center. And this makes the photograph's main focus being on the two gentlemen very clear and detailed, while the buildings in the background are often soft and blurry. This contributes in showing a shallow depth of field and gives this photograph almost a 3D look to it. A shallow depth of field is clear when you look at this photograph because there's distinct difference between the sharpness from the front and center of the photograph to the outer backmost further edge away from you. And this concludes my photo analysis. Thank you.